Folks, WrestleMania is in the record books, and we have a full review of all that went down in Dallas last weekend. So sit back, relax, get ready for the longest-running wrestling talk show in the world today. Pro Wrestling Report right here, right now on My24 Milwaukee and Fight TV.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report, PrimeTime TV, the longest-running pro wrestling news program in the world, with your hosts, David Hero and Damian Nelson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, PrimeTime Saturday night. It's the post-WrestleMania edition here on Saturday, April 9th, 2016. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Octavius Tiberius, the alleged backyard, one-time knockout, straight edge, hardcore, Hall of Famer hero. And David, what a WrestleMania it was 1 week ago.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Wasn't that the best? I mean, we've been doing this now for what, 6 years together?
Sure.
The best WrestleMania experience of all time.
Experience. What was the highlight of the weekend, the WrestleMania weekend for you? Here we go.
Getting my son back was one of the highlights.
Well, I would hope so.
Yes. It was just so much great.
He's a good bartender, from what I understand. I have friends that are.
You know what? Yes. I mean,
Berlin told me.
And she would know.
She would know.
And it was the party. It was WrestleCon. It was Six Flags. It was the bar. It was everything.
JR show, the Raw After Mania. We did everything.
And I mean, and who would have thought that us starting off in Waxahachie, Texas, okay, at my dear, good, close, personal, longtime friends, the Balsamo's Restaurant, Little Sicily in Waxahachie.
Great Italian food.
It was fantastic.
Absolutely amazing.
But that dinner set the tone.
Oh, it set the tone.
Whole weekend.
Set the tone. It was like in that dinner, the whole weekend, we were riding on a high of like, let's say 8 glasses of wine and 2 shots. It felt like we had that like all weekend long after that first night.
When do you get shots of Zambuca at an Italian restaurant is what I want to know.
Well, it's an after dinner shot for sophisticated folk who wear pocket squares and handkerchiefs.
Yeah, but I mean, and of course, you know, we had senior intern Cal.
Cal was with us for his first WrestleMania experience, indeed.
And I don't know how he can top next year for him.
WrestleMania 33, Orlando, Florida. Believe me, we'll find a way to top it, David Hero. But folks, let's get to this week's big story. And of course, as we've talked about, WWE presented the 32nd annual WrestleMania in front of a record crowd of 101,763. By the way, David Hero, I'm going to try to be nice.
No.
There are idiots out there who are saying they only sold 97,000, 84,000. This was the biggest sold wrestling house in history, regardless.
They're going by attendance. You have to include the comps.
Here are exactly the comps, and literally, they definitely did sell standing room only seats. I engaged with some fans who were there who did not have a chair for the event. They were standing room only at the ends of the arena. So regardless of that,
we were there. How many empty seats did you see?
There were 0 empty seats.
I didn't see anything.
There were 0 empty seats. There were 101,793, if not more there. And fine if there were a couple less, whatever. But anyways, it was a record-breaking crowd in Dallas at WrestleMania. And tonight, folks, we're going to talk about the major matches that took place at the event and give you a bit of insight as to why.
Is that a duck?
Give you a bit of insight into why who won, who didn't win, and why the fact that they did or didn't win may not even matter. So first, David Hero, let's talk about Roman Reigns defeating Triple H clean to become the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. They endorsed Roman Reigns. You know, I endorsed Sami Zayn yesterday on Feedback Friday.
Yeah, why? This is one of my guys.
I explained it all on Feedback Friday.
You know, he's part of Team Habibi.
Has he worn one of those ugly shirts?
Of course he has.
Show me. I haven't seen it.
I will get a picture proof of Sami Zayn as a super friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, he'll be in the graphic studio after the show, talking to our graphic artists. Okay, Photoshop.
Fine. Okay, sure. Triple H, him and Roman Reigns had a solid match.
In hour 5.
That wasn't my fault. Okay?
That was the longest WrestleMania on record.
Yeah.
And it was also the most watched WrestleMania on record by some 1.82 million people.
At the suite at 3 o'clock, I thought you were ribbing. Good God Almighty. It started off at 4 o'clock.
It did. And it went Very late, very long. This match starting somewhere around 10:30, I believe, Central Time. However,
was it that late it started?
It was. Well, yes, it was.
I don't remember.
It was but the matchup between Triple H and Roman Reigns, where a lot of people knew or assumed Roman Reigns would win this matchup, regardless of the finish. Let's talk about that later. But the contents of the match, David Hero, your thoughts?
I thought that Triple H is just great.
He is.
You know what? Say what you want. Say he married the right person. Blah, 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 whatever. Triple H is an amazing talent. He understands psychology. He understands theory. He can fight and he can wrestle. He does it all. He can cut a hell of a promo. Mm-hmm. He was the great opponent. He was the opponent that Roman Reigns needed at WrestleMania.
Was he too great? Meaning, was it more difficult for fans to embrace Reigns because of how great Triple H was?
I think that the fans embraced Triple H simply because of his Attitude Era legend. You know what I mean? It's like right now, you bring in the Iron Sheik, okay? And he was one of the most hated villains of all time. The fans will cheer for the Iron Sheik because of the respect they have for him.
Who had the Iron Sheik boots on? Was it Kofi Kingston?
No. It was not Big E. No. Why am I drawing a blank on the guy that blows in the thing?
Carry on.
How did I forget his name?
Carry on.
This is terrible.
I'm not going to help you along.
Consequences Creed.
That was TNA.
Yes. This is embarrassing. Up, down, down. But, I mean, it was a good match. It was, was it full of drama and false finishes? No, because the fans didn't want false finishes with Roman Reigns. But, they definitely did what they had to do, and it was good business. And as much as the fans booed Roman Reigns, they're going to boo him a lot more now going forward.
Why so?
You know what I think it is? I think the WWE has finally given up on the fact that they want to make him a babyface. Now, let's just make him a badass. He can be the lone wolf. I don't care if you boo me or cheer me. I am just going to go out there and dominate.
And on Raw Monday night, the Raw after Mania, AJ Styles became the #1 contender for Roman Reigns' championship, which you have an opinion on as well.
Of course. Again, Roman Reigns and Chris Jericho, AJ Styles, tremendous, phenomenal. He's been a friend of our show for quite a while.
Absolutely.
Okay. And, I bumped into him in Dallas, and I wished him well, and I was happy for him. Congratulations. AJ Styles was a guy we didn't think would ever fit into WWE.
You didn't?
Well, I didn't, because he didn't have...
the size.
It's the size and just the theatrics. You know what I mean? AJ Styles, he's not a character. He's a wrestler. Okay? And WWE is about characters. So, AJ Styles goes out there, has a great match with Jericho. Jericho wins. Pin drop. Oh my God, they buried AJ. How can they do that? This is BS, blah, blah, blah. First of all, much like Sting last year with Triple H, the outsider does not come in and be one of their main guys on the biggest show of the year.
Fandango did.
But he was a product of WWE. He was from their system, okay? So, if wrestling fans know AJ from TNA more than New Japan, okay? There's no way they're going to let a TNA guy come in and beat Chris Jericho. Jericho beats him. Now it's an even playing field. What happens the next night? Everyone that complains that AJ Styles got buried, he wins the Fatal 4-Way. He is now the #1. I will guarantee you this. Any wrestler on the planet would trade in a win at WrestleMania to get a main event payday 2 months later.
But at the same time, it is a privilege and an honor to walk out in front of 101,763 people and perform. I'm not sure most of the talents care whether they win or lose at WrestleMania.
They don't. I mean, Undertaker cared, obviously. But, listen, you don't really win because they don't really lose. You know what I mean?
Triple H versus Roman Reigns. I thought it was a very, very good matchup. I liked that. We thought there'd be shenanigans in this matchup, perhaps, and I laid out a pretty wild scenario on one of our episodes last week with Triple H and Reigns.
And what did I tell you? I said you were wrong.
As you were wrong with just about every match you did and Be the Booker for both these shows?
No. What was I wrong on?
Let's see. Sami Zayn lost in NXT. Baron Corbin lost in NXT, then won the Battle Royal. Let's see. The League of Nations
Why are you all about
won.
details all of a sudden?
Yes, Triple H and Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the new WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I got a little bit of trouble on Twitter, David Hero, because I said that this was the right thing to do, and Reigns deserved it, and those who boo him don't understand the business. I'd like to edit that comment a little bit. Those who boo him because he is the chosen one, not because you actually don't think he has ability and talent, you're the idiots in this world, as opposed to those who naturally, just for whatever reason, don't like Roman Reigns.
Can I be
Roman
honest?
Reigns deserves this moment, deserves this spot, and when you see what happens, especially when he gets face-to-face in the ring for the championship with John Cena, the dynamic will be amazing.
Can I be honest? Do we have time, or do we got to come back to
We
this?
actually do need to come back, but I'll give you a few more moments right now.
Okay, being honest,
Please be honest.
we're in Dallas.
Texas.
I have now become a Kevin Steen fan. I like what he does.
Kevin Owens? Yes.
Kevin Owens.
You were never a Kevin Steen fan.
No, I mean, he does a great job of what he does.
He does.
He's fantastic.
You want to hate him.
I like Bray Wyatt. Mm-hmm. Both guys are extremely talented. They're going to have long careers. They're going to make lots of money. They're going to headline a lot of pay-per-views. The majority of the wrestling fans dress up as Kevin Owens and Bray Wyatt. Mm-hmm. How many fans did you see dressed up like Roman Reigns?
I saw a lot of Roman Reigns t-shirts, and how do you dress up like Roman Reigns? Do you grow hair and a goatee and put a tattoo on?
Well, there's a whole lot of guys that are overweight with a scruffy beard as Bray Wyatt and Kevin Owens. Okay? So that's who they relate to. That's why they don't cheer for Roman Reigns, because they can't be him.
Okay.
You know I'm right.
I am not going to chime in on this conversation.
Why? Are you scared? If you're scared, say you're scared.
No, it'll be used against me in future political campaigns.
No, it's not. Please. Bro. There's no campaigning for us. We're done. Especially after this last weekend. There's way too many pictures.
Discussion on WrestleMania 32 continues along with this week's DWHS in just a few moments when we come back on My24 Milwaukee and Fight TV.
When you're diamond shopping, variety is important. At Robert Hack Diamonds, we'll show you multiple diamonds side by side underneath the microscope and show you what to look for when buying a diamond. GIA graduate gemologists are on staff for expert diamond grading. Robert Hack has affordable prices on all diamonds, including diamonds certified by the GIA. Need a mounting for your diamond? Our selection is huge. Buy your diamonds today at Robert Hack Diamonds or visit roberthackdiamonds.com.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night for April 9, 2016. It's the WrestleMania Breakdown. Damian Nelson here along with David Hero, and let's continue talking about WrestleMania. But first, folks, be sure to check out PWR Reaction Live every single Monday and Wednesday night after Raw and NXT with Meathead and Matthew Thomas taking your live calls at PWRshow.com. And if you can't catch the show live, be sure to subscribe to the PWR Now Network for free to get the episodes on demand. That's PWR Reaction Live after Raw and NXT, Monday nights at 10 o'clock, Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock at PWRshow.com.
There is just so much content out there.
We are the kings of content.
We are. You know, speaking of kings, how about Monday night? Jim Ross's show? Him and Jim Cornette, James E. Cornette?
Yes.
You kept Cal out till 3 o'clock in the morning?
I thoroughly enjoyed when Jim Cornette, he said this before in his podcast, when he referred to the returning Cesaro as Claudio Castagnoli, and then said, well, Cesaro's his slave name.
Right? That was uncomfortable.
For you or for me?
Well, for both,
it was a great show, folks. It was ringside with JR. It was the first ringside show I'd been to, and JR did a tremendous job, along with Jim Cornette on stage.
It was sold out, packed, standing room only at 11 o'clock at night.
Absolutely, and it was a great show. And also, big thanks go out to JR being on this program. You know, we achieved our highest ratings in 2 years for the 2-week span of time that Jim Ross was with us here on the air. And next week, David Hero, we've got yet another legend joining us to talk about professional wrestling for the span of the program.
Oh, I can't wait. And, you know, let's also thank SoCal Val and Mike Weber of Fight TV.
Absolutely, yes.
You know,
SoCal Val, she hosted the midnight fireball shot at the Shenanigans party.
Who better?
That was the end of a lot of people, David Hero, because we had to call last call about an hour later.
Yeah, well, you know, when Linda gets like that.
Closing time.
Oh, yeah.
Continuing our discussion of WrestleMania 32 last week in Dallas, let's now talk about the street fight between Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose. Now, Dean Ambrose used plenty of weapons in his efforts against Lesnar, but it was ultimately an F5 on a stack of chairs that spelled his demise and loss at WrestleMania.
Did he really use the weapons? Every time he got one, Lesnar took it away.
He attempted to. He used the chairs.
Well, but that doesn't count.
He used the kendo sticks.
But Lesnar broke those, and then, it was a disappointment of a match.
Really? You're that fan right now. Please explain.
No. I'm not disappointed that there wasn't
Ambrose got buried? Because Ambrose should have won? Because he's 30 and new?
There's no way Ambrose could ever beat Brock Lesnar.
In any way, shape, or form?
You know what? And be that fan that throws out the videos of him and all of his hardcore stuff on the indies, fine. I'm willing to bet if you hit Brock Lesnar with a fluorescent light bulb, he's not going to fall down.
And before he falls down, he's going to kill you.
Yeah, I mean, it was good for what they did. They kept it a wrestling match. They made Brock Lesnar keep his style. Lesnar's not going to go out there and take all those crazy shots and whatever else from someone that he doesn't really know.
But the story in this match wasn't whether or not Dean Ambrose won or lost or beat Brock Lesnar or didn't beat Brock Lesnar.
He held his own.
It was the fact that Brock Lesnar had to use a stack of chairs and an F5 to pin ultimately Dean Ambrose. One F5, not multiples as he's had to use with others, but it's all relative. Dean Ambrose put up a fight. Dean Ambrose showed courage. Dean Ambrose showed heart, spirit, determination, drive, and he did all those things, but it still fell short of the effort to beat the Beast Incarnate. Well, to me, that makes sense, and I don't think there was any scenario, as you said, that Dean Ambrose should have won that match. In fact, you said if he had, you wouldn't be here this week.
Oh, exactly. And then ratings would be at the all-time low. But
no, actually,
you know what was kind of cool? And we're gonna break the fourth wall for a minute here. You guys had a moment, you and Dean Ambrose,
I did get the opportunity to chat with Mr. Ambrose on Friday night, and he said, and I quote, "I love this guy."
Yeah. Which I thought was great that he didn't hear all the terrible things you said about him.
I never said anything terrible about him. I said he's a great wrestler. I said his character at times has been obnoxious to me. I will say that to anyone who will listen. And Dean and I,
it was cool how you guys hugged. I was like,
he appreciates a good broadcast journalist.
I wish Cody would appreciate me.
There's no spin zone here. How about the polka dot starred outfit for
and the ladder?
And the ladder, very well done.
And I mean, maybe it's because we're older now. We appreciate that stuff more.
Just getting more experience being 21.
Well, that comes after 19.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it sure does.
And there's a nice progression there.
But comes before 26, though, doesn't it?
Oh, of course. Yeah. No. Yes. Just ask Cal. He's better at math than I am. So it's just cool seeing the tribute to Dusty.
Yes.
It really was. The ladder was great.
Statue unveiled as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great celebration for so many talents. I mean, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and guys that have been on the indies for years finally getting that break and walking down that ramp to 100-something thousand people. I can't imagine how overwhelming that is. You know what I mean? And then just to know that you've made it and that you've been, and the way Dusty, the way everyone talks about Dusty, I mean, we knew Dusty was a legend.
Yeah.
We knew he's one of the all-time greats. But just the outpouring of love for everything about him. And even at the Hall of Fame when Ric Flair mentioned Piper and Dusty, how he broke down. It was just a great celebration weekend for so many people.
In just a few moments, we have this week's event center, DWHS, and more discussion on WrestleMania 32 right here on My 24 Milwaukee and Fight TV.
The Soder family thought they'd take a road trip this summer. A little fun, a little sun. What could possibly go wrong? Even under the best driving conditions, semi-trucks can still be dangerous. The results of being in a wreck with 40 tons of steel and speed can be catastrophic. And it only gets worse when you don't have Gruber Law Offices on your side. If you or a loved one has been injured by a semi-truck, call Gruber Law Offices now. One call, that's all.
Hi gang, Mean Gene Okerlund here on My 24, and you're watching the Pro Wrestling Report. All of the news about wrestling, not only here in Milwaukee, but throughout the world. Stay up to date. Join us every Saturday night.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report. Primetime Saturday night, April 9, 2016. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside David Hero. And wow, what a WrestleMania weekend it was. We've been talking about not only the events, but the shenanigans, including the shenanigans party. But David, the match everyone was looking forward to was Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker. The company basically on the line, as if Shane McMahon would have won that matchup, he would have gained control of WWE Raw. And as revealed last week on Raw, if The Undertaker would have lost that match, it would have been his last match at WrestleMania. Going into this, it could have gone either way. We thought, along with a lot of other experts in this business, thought that this match would have a ton of shenanigans involved.
No,
there would be none.
Whoa.
You said
didn't.
that. You absolutely said that.
What shenanigans
you said
did
that there. You didn't say specifically, Mr. Trump, but you said that there would be shenanigans involved.
First of all, I love the fans and they love me. But I just said that no interference and that Taker would lay down.
You said Taker would beat himself.
Yes.
And that there would be shenanigans, all kinds of shenanigans.
Vince in the end.
It's super, but that did not happen. So ultimately, thank you.
I was mistaken.
You were misinformed.
I'm gonna sue everybody at WrestleMania. Every single one of them.
It would ultimately be, of course, one huge high spot, if you will, from Shane McMahon with the elbow off the top of the Hell in a Cell to the table where he missed. Undertaker got out of the way. A risk taken, one that would ultimately, shortly thereafter, see him losing that matchup to The Undertaker, and then a humble thank you and goodbye on Monday night on Raw.
You know, superstar Billy Graham commented on that. And he hated the fact that Shane did that.
Why is that?
Because a man of 3 boys, married with a family, why take that risk?
How many kids did Mick have married with a family? 2 at the time when he did it in '98 in Pittsburgh?
Agreed. And then Mick fell through the cage on accident.
Right.
Right after that. But I mean, it's just like, whew, you know what I mean? That could have gone really wrong.
It could have gone really, really wrong. Now, they took precautions, obviously, and a lot of people are talking about this and pictures being sent out. Oh, my God, they had padding. Regardless of the dang-on padding.
Okay.
A lot of us would not...
You go that far up, I don't care what you put... You are still going to feel something.
Exactly. You're going to feel the pain. Shane felt the pain. Mad respect for Shane McMahon, but a lot of people saying that we expected, including me, quite frankly, expected there to be more long-term benefit of this matchup. And while we did see Shane put in charge of Raw Monday night, which ultimately led to nothing, I don't think. However, maybe you can give him the credit for all the things the fans have been wanting that happened on Raw. Cesaro back, Apollo Crews debuting.
You can tell that segment there was rushed because there was really no backstage vignettes or promos with Shane.
Nothing. Well, I think there might have been one
or
after
two.
That. With,
that
Reigns.
was really about it. So, interesting. Nice send-off for Shane if he is in fact done. I thought the match... It was good, wasn't great.
I thought it was paced fairly well.
Well, it had to be paced well.
Yeah.
Because
they went almost 30 minutes.
Was it that long?
It was that long.
Huh. Who knew? I didn't. But
no, you were busy.
I'm always preoccupied. There's always something going on and things need my attention. So.
Should this match have ended differently? I think you wanted it to or thought it might going into it.
I mean, I like what I like, and I would have liked to have seen Taker, if he's going to be... Right now, Taker at Mania doesn't mean anything anymore.
I'm not sure he looked great, but I'm not sure how great he looked. You know what I mean?
And I think that if they really wanted to do something different and put Shane in charge, but let's face it, putting Shane in charge doesn't change the product. It doesn't, because at the end of the day, it's still the same decision makers making those same decisions. Right?
It changes the on-air presentation of that content.
But that's it.
Yes.
They're still going to push the same
lipstick on
guys.
the pig that perhaps they need.
Another reference? Are you talking about
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Sarah Palin?
Don't do it. No, I thought you were going elsewhere. That Sarah who? That has been from Alaska.
Where else would I go with lipstick and a pig?
Folks, we want to issue our condolences to the family of Blackjack Mulligan, David Hero.
Yes.
Father of Mike Rotunda, grandfather of both.
Father of Barry Windham, grandfather of Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas.
Yes, and he passed away earlier this week.
Former
at the age
AWA
of
World Tag Team
73,
Champion.
and a WWE Hall of Famer. So, of course, our condolences go out to the family of Blackjack Mulligan. And now let's throw on over to Linda for this week's Event Center.
Welcome to the PWR Event Center, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Ring of Honor Wrestling returns to the historic Turner Hall on Sunday, June 12th, and tickets are available to see all the action now at papstheater.org. The Super Friends Fan Fest comes to Milwaukee on Saturday, May 7th from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and on Sunday, May 8th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The Fan Fest, featuring Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Bobby Heenan, Mean Gene Okerlund, and more, will be held at the Days Inn Hotel and Suites right here in Milwaukee. Get all the details on the Fan Fest now at pwrshow.com. That's it for this week's Event Center, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices.
You know, Damien, this week's DWHS is going to be about...
Oh, we got to do that? I thought we couldn't close the end of the show. I didn't think we had time.
It is the highest-rated segment on the show besides Be the Booker. Yes, because it's the spoken word. DWHS this week, it's about patience. Not Guns N' Roses being on tour with patience, but just wrestling fans need patience because eventually they will always get what they want. And that's exactly what's happening. Yes, it is. Here's what's going to happen. Chris Jericho defeats AJ Styles. The fans get all upset. Boo, boo, boo. They're upset about it. AJ Styles then comes out and wins Fatal 4-Way. Now #1 contender for Roman Reigns. Now, Roman Reigns has been the guy they've been trying...
That was over the course of 24 hours.
Roman Reigns has been the guy WWE has been trying to put the rocket ship on his back. Well, now they don't have to, because now they have AJ Styles, the perennial fan favorite. Roman Reigns is going to give the fans exactly what they want. They're going to get to boo Roman Reigns out of the building, cheer AJ Styles, and everyone's going to be happy. And I would not be a bit surprised that maybe by SummerSlam, AJ Styles could be the new World Heavyweight Champion.
Not going to happen, buddy.
And with that, David Hero has spoken.
Folks, let's continue the conversation online by following us on Twitter, liking us on Facebook, and visiting pwrshow.com for updates all week long until we are with you again next Saturday night. And speaking of next Saturday night, David Hero, it is for the first time ever. Last week we were from Dallas, Texas. You lost your son. Thank God he's not coming with us to this particular on-location shoot.
He can't come to Vegas.
But next week, ladies and gentlemen, we will be broadcasting live from Las Vegas, Nevada, and our guest host will be Mean Gene Okerlund. We're going to be at the Cauliflower Alley Club event all week long, and Mean Gene will be hosting with us in Las Vegas, Nevada.
So you're not going to be a part of it? It'll just be Gene and I?
No, it will be Gene and I along with you if we can find you, because I understand you're going to be spending time with a Hall of Famer. And it is not Gene Okerlund.
Hey, the Godfather has invited me to hang out.
Until then, folks, for that one, this is Damian Nelson saying see you next week. Actually, no, see you right now on Primetime Extra with more discussion on WrestleMania at PWRshow.com.